Hey, I'm your host Julian for the Ambitious Sloth podcast, where I interview inspiring individuals about their mindsets, ambitions, and meaning in life. The mindset to break barriers. What do you need in order to achieve incredible accomplishments despite of your circumstances? Also, we live up to our expectations, not to what we actually want. That's something what Vinay, a data scientist, and I talk about in this episode. Enjoy. Welcome to a new episode of the Ambitious Sloth podcast. I'm your host, Julian, and today I have the honor of the guest of Vinay being here on the show. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Julian. Thanks for inviting me. And I'm really looking forward to this discussion. And I'm also looking forward for other podcasts that you do. I'm a big fan of your podcast.
Oh, man. Thanks a lot. And to give a short introduction to who he is, Vinay is a data science manager at a company in Germany and gave also guest lectures at the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology and is still giving lectures in Mannheim about ethics. He's an author and TEDx speaker and is also working on his PhD at the same time. And in addition to what we will talk about, we will mainly focus on the mindset that was necessary or is necessary to break barriers. And he'll mention a couple of examples on illustrating it and a couple of stories that will definitely be motivating. I'm sure about that. And in addition, it is best if you really have pen and paper next to you, because you'll figure out shortly what I mean by that. So thanks for being here, and I'm looking forward to this conversation now.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Julian. Yeah. So I would like to start with a very small phrase from Hindi literature.
Yeah.
It says, "लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती, लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती." The meaning of this is that if that boat is getting feared by the tides, it will never be able to cross the river. So anybody who is giving a try, anybody who is bouncing back, they will never lose. At the end, they will always win. And somehow this phrase has always been with me. And whenever I feel down in my life, I read this phrase to myself. And I was trying to correlate this phrase with a lot of individuals around me. So first of all, I am just to give a brief background. I come from a very small place in India, and when we say village, might be your village definition in Europe would be drastically different than the definition of village in India. It's not that I'm ashamed of or I have anything against that. I'm really proud of the place from where I come because it has given me a lot of things. In terms of perseverance, in terms of motivation, in terms of a lot of things it has not given me, which was blessing in disguise. So, for example, we never grew up knowing what is depression, or we never knew what is failure, or the luxury of having everything available on a click. And it's a tribal area, so in our it's basically a lot of tribal people living there, and we grew up with them. And there is this word called bang. It's a tribal word which means let's do it. So if you, for example, ask a tribal man to wait for something, he will not ask any question. He will just wait for you. He will wait for hours. He will just wait for hours. In principle, if you ask me, that is what we all need in our life. The problem is that we become so intelligent. If you are waiting in front of your doctor for your appointment, you start surfing internet. You start, you get anxious. You start looking for something else. Why? Because we don't want to wait. And perseverance is something which is really, really the need of the hour. We all need to be very to have patience. And I think with this new technology era, the biggest thing which we are missing is is perseverance. The biggest thing which we are missing is patience. So here I am with you all, with Julian, and I would like to bring some individual stories of some people whom I saw around me, who always inspire me. And I was always curious to understand how these people with such a humble background were able to break the barriers and reach to a point or a milestone in their life where they are right now. And I was trying to understand if there is a pattern or if there is some certain characteristics that could be generalized and which could be studied further to know if there is a formula to break barriers. Yeah. And if it's you're still with me, then I would like to share those points. So this is a story, or this inference which I will share with you is from 3 individuals whom I studied very deeply. I studied their all the articles related to them, have seen them in person a couple of times, and has followed them up. So the
maybe
first individual
before a bit, why did you start off looking to those patterns? Why did you want to look into those 3 people, or generally people that made it somewhere and wanted to go after that? Where does that seeking come from?
To be very honest, 2 things. First, normally, at least for me, it was always that I always look up to somebody whom I can correlate. Yeah. My background, does it matches to that individual's background, my upbringing, the area where I'm growing up? Can I correlate? Yeah. So we have you can get inspired by anybody. Yeah. But these individuals were more from the same city or from the same state and have more or less the same background, which I was having. Yeah. And somehow I was always inspired by people who are very humble. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that I'm in awe of Richard Branson, for example. Yeah, he is also an inspiration for sure. Yeah, but I could not correlate myself to him. Yeah, so for me it was always that look at for example Neeraj Chopra, or look at for example Hima Das. Hima Das also has a very humble background. His father is a rickshaw puller, and still she's trying to make it big, and now she has reached to a particular milestone where she can say, yeah, look, I overcome all this obstacle, and I'm here only because of my so and so quality. That was the main reason why I looked up to these individuals. But for me, I get inspired by everything and anybody. Yeah, so that's a weakness I have.
Well, I wouldn't call it particularly a weakness, but I see that it also happens to me quite often when there's like a story that I see of somebody you're like rising somewhere, like, oh damn, this is great. Even like some people around me, just like, I don't know, starting of their own projects or have an insight and being super excited about that. I'm with them. That's so awesome.
Yeah, so that's always, yeah, exactly. And so when I was studying these people, for example, there's this young guy called Neeraj Chopra, yeah, and he is basically an athlete. Yeah, he is a javelin thrower. Yeah, he throws javelin. Yeah, and he has a very interesting story for him. Yeah, so he was not sure what he wants to do. Yeah, and somehow he liked field and track events. He liked he wanted to become an athlete. But he didn't know how to start. And then he wanted to learn javelin throwing, yeah. And as they say that when you want to do something, or it's a line from Paulo Coelho, I think, yeah, it's from him, yeah. But, yeah,
amazing books.
When you want to do something, the whole universe inspires and helps you, yeah, something like that, yeah. So Neeraj started watching YouTube videos. And he was seeing the actions. He was seeing how to throw javelin. And today he is an Asian champion. He's Asian. He represents India in Asian Games, and he has already won a lot of gold medals in Asian Games. And he is one of the best javelin thrower in India. Yeah. The second story is also second one comes from my city where I grew up. To be very honest, her name is Deepika Kumari. And she used to pick rags from the road, yeah. So on the roadside, she used to pick the rags, yeah, plastics and bottles, collect it, and then go and sell it. And she was always thinking, what else she can do, yeah? What would be possible? And she said, whatever she will do will be better than what she is doing currently, yeah. And then she got inspired to become again in the athlete area only, but more of in archery, yeah.
Okay.
And currently she is world number 9, but at peak of her career she was world number 1. So that was like for me, wow, how could a girl who was picking plastic bottles and things from the road is now a world champion, yeah.
Wow.
And similarly, we have Hima Das also, who is a sprinter and athlete, and she was in Asian Games representing India, and many times she didn't have proper tracking shoes to participate in these races. Yeah, again coming from very humble background, daughter of a rickshaw puller, and that inspired me to look into their life more closely. Yeah. What did they do? What I didn't do in my life. Yeah. And somehow I was like, so I'm a firm believer of this statement which people keep saying, or I think you all would have heard. Everything happens for a reason. Yeah. Everything that happens in your life happens for a reason. Sometimes the reason is that you are stupid and you made bad decisions. Yeah. And this is very important. Believe me, this phrase is really important because most of us, we accept the reasoning and say, okay, this is what the society, or this is what my fate is. This is what I can become because this is how the society looks up to me. So the society, your environment, everything around you might peg you to a particular role or to a particular work or to a particular target. Yeah, they will say, okay, this is where you fit in. And from there, to unpack yourself, to break the shackle and become something what you want, that's what this individual have done. And that needs lots of motivation. And throughout my life, I have learned that it's only you who can do that. No one can help you. There could be different factors, there could be different influencers, there you might get additional help from somebody, but until and unless you decide that you want to help yourself and break that shackle and reach where you want to, no one else can help. And to do that, I think that you need to pose some characteristics. And I'm not saying this list is a complete list, but what I have found out with this in 3 individuals and also with a lot of other individuals, first, you need to be very open. You need to educate yourself. You need to probe. You need to travel. You need to reflect. I will come to each of them in more detail. Yeah. You need to aim. You need to give, and you need to celebrate. So when I say you need to be open, you have to break your inner circle and you have to break your comfort zone and you have to come out of that comfort zone. If I'm very comfortable in picking rags, or if I'm very comfortable in doing a particular task, I will never know what is there outside for me. If I'm always happy with what society is giving me, if I'm very happy with how people are labeling me, oh, you are a very nice guy, you can really dance well, so you should be a dancer. Oh, no. That's okay, but I wanted to become a singer. So you have to be very open to it. Yeah, you know what I mean? No, I don't want to become a singer, or honestly, I want to become a singer, but I never gave a try because I was I was too shy of it.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Does the order of those words or statements also have a reason?
Yeah, I will connect them. So, or when we go through each of them, then you will see why I gave this particular
Okay.
order. Yeah,
Okay.
because everything from my perspective, everything starts with opening up yourself. Yeah,
Okay.
if you don't open up yourself, you will not let yourself educate you about something. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you need to first be open. Yeah, open to try new things, open to try and see what is there, and then you need to educate yourself. Education doesn't mean getting a degree in something. Education doesn't mean that you have to read books. Education, or if you ask me, the best education is knowing your surrounding, knowing the environment, knowing what is around you. And if you see most of the successful people, they were very well educated with what was around them. You cannot become a great businessman just by holding an MBA degree. Or let's see all the big guys. Most of them are Stanford dropouts or MIT dropouts. I'm not saying that you should do that, but educating yourself. And it also connects to being open, because if you are not open to educate yourself into new things or into new area or into new environment, you will always be the dancer or be the safe or whatever society has labeled you. You will never be able to try and reach where you want to go. So education is very important, but in terms of knowing about what is around you, and most important, knowing about yourself. I always fight with my friends and with my management and with a lot of people around me when they say, I know your capabilities. I know what you can do. For God's sake, I don't know myself what I can do, believe me. I'm still trying to learn what can I do. I don't know my own capabilities. How the hell somebody else can tell me what is my capability? So education is very important. And then the third most important thing is probe, ask questions. Should I be open to learning dancing, or should I be open to learning music?
Mhm.
What should I do what should I teach myself? What education I need to be there? Questioning is very important. And somehow our society doesn't like it. We always talk about, you should always question. But as they say that, or at least it was Pablo Picasso who told that all of the kids or all of the children are born artists. It's us who kill the creativity out of them.
Mm.
Because we tell them, hey, you should not do this. You are not good at painting or you are not good at drawing. Because they ask a lot of questions. They ask how to do it. And many times, most of us, if we don't know the answer, or if we can't answer those kids, we say, this is not the right question. So for me, I always feel that when I look at this all individual, I see that they have questioned it. They always question the status quo. They always
Mm.
question why society wants me to do this. Why can't I become a dancer? Why can't I become a singer? So questioning is very important.
Have you then experienced a difference between the culture in India and in Germany with regards to allowing for questions?
Uh, so means I cannot talk for India as a whole because this is a very huge country.
Of course, the
Uh,
part where you're coming from then.
yeah, but I have traveled to a lot of Asian countries in general also, and to European countries also. And I have seen somehow we Asians, if I have to label it for all Asians, we are a little introvert. Yeah, we feel that questioning is not good. Yeah?
Hmm.
So in India, I still see in schools and colleges, the students really question, or they ask a lot of questions. But when I was in, for example, South Korea, in Taiwan, they shy away. It's because of the culture. It's because questioning is understood like you are challenging the person in front of you, um, and that somehow also kills the creativity and innovation in the individuals. I'm not saying that Koreans or Indians or Taiwanese are not creative. They are for sure, yeah. But asking question is a big thing in India or in China or in Asia in general.
Okay.
That's that's my observation. I might be completely
Of
wrong.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you open up, when you are ready to educate yourself, when you are ready to question, then the next big thing which you should do is travel.
I like that
When I say
point.
travel, yeah, it doesn't mean that you have to be at exotic locations. You have to be into new country or into new place. I mean, travel means just getting the diversity of different places, getting the diversity of opinion, getting the diversity of culture. Travel has a big impact. And if you look at any individual who are really doing good with what they are doing right now, they all will encourage you to travel. It opens a different perspective for you. It opens your thought process.
Yeah.
It gives a new dimension how things should be looked up to. And I think, Julian, you can correlate on this because I remember you were in Nepal for some time, and might be you can tell me your experience on travel.
Oh yeah, to be honest, for me the journey on how I started all this and how where I am right now started with a point where I decided to go to Australia right after my high school. That was the point where like I decided either to like go right into studying or then go into completely new areas I haven't looked into before. And in Australia, I got to at first to know so many different perspectives from so many different people on with different backgrounds, and this just broadened up my perspective of the world because there are so many people out there that suddenly saw completely different things as important in life than I did before or as I learned, and that in a way freed me from living up to like the expectations of what a good life is. And so I could look then into myself and like try to figure out, okay, what do I actually want to create in this life? What I do want to make? What is my intrinsic motivation to figure something out? And that's, I think, the best gift what the first travel experience gave me.
Awesome. And that is a really nice connection to my next point, reflect.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because what you did was you reflected back on yourself. Yeah. You reflected on your life. You reflected when you saw all this thing around. Yeah. And that is something which I always feel that irrespective of what you are, what you want to be, reflecting is the best thing that you can do. I try to do it every night before I go to sleep. I lay down on my bed and just close my eyes for 10 to 15 minutes. I try to reflect what happened today, what I planned to do and what I did and what I didn't do. I reflect on what could have been done in a better way. And I also try to say, okay, this was done in a good way. I should be happy about it. So reflection is very important. And I always and I'm a very impatient person when it comes to learning, yeah. And I'm very patient when it comes to be patient in life, yeah. I can wait for things for my all my life. But when it comes to learning, I'm very impatient person, yeah. I buy almost 5 6 books every month, yeah, which I never complete, yeah, but I buy it because I think I should read it, yeah. I try to read as much as possible, but this reflection which we are talking here, so when you reflect, it gives you also a course correction, yeah. So it also helps you to correct your course where you are moving into. So if you are thinking to complete something, or if you are thinking to do something in next 5 6 months or in a week's time, for example, reflecting helps you to do a course correction. It's never too late to make changes. It's never too late to learn and unlearn something and do a course correction. For me, reflecting on myself has always helped me to do a course correction. And I would encourage all of us that when we go to bed, before taking a deep sleep, close your eyes, think for 10 to 15 minutes what you did the whole day. Did you do what you wanted to do, or what went wrong? Can something be done in a better way tomorrow? Can I plan my day for tomorrow, what I want to do tomorrow? And when you have something like this, you will not have a dull morning because you are already into your plan, which you decided yesterday night. You jump start with your, day. This is what I want to do. And
Yeah.
believe me, how good you are, what you are doing, and what position you have, we are human beings and we will be demotivated or we will be desperate and we will have stress and whatever word you want to use, which I don't know. I don't want to know also. But we all need a start with a motivation. And you can't just wake up in the morning and say, okay, what should I do? Okay, let me first have a coffee and decide what I should do. You have to decide before you sleep. Because then, when you decide before you sleep, you will dream about it. You will dream about what you want to do tomorrow. Isn't it interesting that you are already dreaming about what you want to do tomorrow? You have a plan for tomorrow. You can start your day. Okay, this is what I want to do. Hey, by the way, I did what I have thought day before yesterday, and yesterday was a really successful day for me. Or it could be also, oh, I could not do it yesterday. Let me complete it today. That motivation is intrinsic motivation, and that cannot be given by anybody else. It cannot be given by a scrum meeting. It cannot be given by a things to do list. If you have that motivation, you don't need any other purpose or any other thing. You start your day with a big smile and you have a plan, you have everything going on. And again, when you will come back to your bed in the night, you will be a relaxed person. You will be having a sense of accomplishment. This is what I did. Or a sense of motivation for the next day. Think of this that you are having this for 365 days a year. I can challenge all of you. If any of you can say that I have this kind of motivation or this kind of intrinsic motivation for 365 days a year, if it is so, please share your recipe, what you do and how you do it. And then once we reflect onto ourselves, we should aim. We should aim for what we want to do. We should do the course correction. So you are open enough to see and try a new environment, you educate yourself, you question yourself, you travel, you reflect, and with all of this, you try to set an aim. And that's an internal aim. You don't need to tell the whole society that I want to do this. And your aim could be non-materialistic also. Your aim doesn't need to buy a Porsche or your aim doesn't need to become a CEO of company. Your aim could be as simple as that I would like to study or I would like to learn more about ethics, for example. That could be also your aim, yeah. I believe in keeping small aims because then I can succeed in that and it makes me feel happy, yeah. Yeah. The house is built with a lot of small bricks, yeah. If you start aiming for a house, many times you put stress on yourself, unnecessary stress on yourself. But if you start thinking about making walls, that I will complete a wall in 2 days, might be that would be more healthier in terms of thinking and in terms of stress, yeah. So try to keep an aim or try to set an aim for yourself, not for anybody else, not for the society. And once you have an aim, then you have to think about how can I achieve this aim? Because as I keep saying, it's only you who can help yourself. But you live in a society, you live in an environment, and you have a lot of external factors which can influence in reaching to that aim. And the best way to do that is give. Yeah. We all are pipeline. None of us are source. You get something, you have to pass it on. You can't store it. You are not a dam. You can't keep all the water. If you keep all the water, there will be a flood. We have to act like a pipeline. So if you got some good support or help or education, or if you have money or whatever, you should act like a pipeline. Pass it on to the next one. And I don't buy this bullshit that, oh, I'm too poor, I'm not intelligent, I'm this and that, and I can't give. Each of us has something to offer to other one. If nothing, then give your time to listen to somebody. Give some advice, give some experience what you had. I always believe that instead of putting a ladder, think of breaking the wall itself. Why do you need to put ladders always to cross the wall? Why don't we break the wall so that the next person who is coming doesn't need a ladder? It should be you. Why should you always take the shortcut and take a ladder to cross the wall? Hey, let's break the wall itself. And when you will think in this direction, you will not only help yourself, but a whole lot bunch of people behind you who would have otherwise taken the ladder or might have missed the ladder to cross the wall. And the last and most important thing is celebrate.
I like that part.
Yes, might be you can share some trivia from your side. How do you celebrate, or what do you do when you? Do you have some trivia on that?
Well, I actually don't have like any I don't know, routine or whatever I do when I celebrate. But usually it is quite often when I achieve something by myself, something I was intrinsically motivated to do. Like, for example, now being proud of like doing for almost 1.5 years this podcast, or other parts that I really focus on myself and could then achieve, is then okay. Most of the time I share that with friends and share that like how I got there, and then I can enjoy that part also just by really feeling that moment, feeling the almost like the proudness, feeling the happiness. So I try to really be then in that moment to experience those wins for me. Let's call it like wins for me quite deeply. So that's how I try to do that all the time.
Exactly. And celebrate also has a bigger purpose. It helps you to remember what path you took, what are the things that you did, yeah? And it, as they say, that you do not need to learn always from your own mistake. You can learn it from someone else's mistake. Similarly, when you celebrate, you also help others to learn from your success, because you share your story with those people. And for yourself, that's a sense of relief, sense of satisfaction, and sense of motivation for the next thing that you want to do in your life. Look, overall, might be sound philosophical, and especially coming from a data science guy, but data science in general is a philosophical topic. It's more of sociology, if you ask me. Yeah. We all human beings, we go through we should go through 6 broader processes. Yeah. The process of creation, the process of evaluation, the process of analysis, and then applying, understanding, and finally remember. When I say the process of creation, we should try to combine parts to make a new whole, yeah, new bigger thing, yeah. Because it's always easy to first understand a smaller part and then combine them together to make a bigger part. But how do you do that? You have to evaluate those smaller parts, correct? You have to always judge the value of that small idea. You have to always judge the information that is there so that you can contribute or take it to the creation part. But evaluation might not give you the best result to create. And therefore, people always encourage you to analyze, because even the smaller part can be further broken into sub-smaller parts. So breaking down that information into components and then analyzing it will help you to create a bigger part. But while doing this all, if you don't have an application, if you are not going to apply it somewhere, if you are not going to apply some facts on it, some rules on it, some fitment on it, it will be of no use. But the problem till now, what I see has been that we are very good with create, we are very good with evaluate, we are very good with analyze, we are very good with apply. But many times we are not good with understand. We create things, but we don't know or we don't understand how it will impact our society, how it will impact us, how it will impact our neighbors. And then we end up with situations which we can't handle. It goes out of our hand. So understanding is very important. Understanding not from the perspective of what you think, but understanding also from the perspective of society, from the perspective of your environment, from the culture which you live in. And then remember the impact of what you created. Because we are very good at forgetting things. We create things and which went out of our hand and we said, this was not me, but it happened because it's not in control of human beings, but we forget about it. So whatever you create, whatever you evaluated out of it, whatever you analyzed out of it, wherever you applied it, and what was the understanding for you and for the society and for the environment in which you live, you have to remember. And this remember is sometimes in form of celebration. This remember could be in sometime in the form of bad news or learning, but this will definitely help us to make a better life for all of us. So these were some of the points from my side, which I figured out, or I had a deep learning from these individuals, which I could easily correlate with myself or with few of my colleagues and friends. But the stage is yours now, Julian. Yeah, go ahead with if you have something specific.
Oh man, first off, it's an amazing list what you gave, and I can really relate to be honest, to all of those points. That's something I like through the traveling. I got really to know most of the parts, like through just I get to be honest through the traveling part that opened at first like my perspective of things. I opened myself up, I guess, as you said in the first. That's probably the most important part. That everything starts when with opening up yourself. And then I also started, for example, I think like just half a year later, while I was traveling, half a year later after high school, I was like, okay, I want to learn something new again. I want to learn. And then it started like the Coursera. I think you know the platform as well. Like I started courses on there while I was traveling in Australia, just because I had the need of getting new knowledge. And yeah, I think really that was, at least for me, the starting point to get into most of the areas you just mentioned. And that was very, very meaningful for me. And I mean, that was also the part on how we even first of all got to know each other while traveling. Exactly. And I also like every time I travel, I feel myself being in a different mindset. I feel myself in a different, almost like having a different personality while I'm traveling. I'm a lot more open, a lot more curious, and figuring out all new things. And I don't have that so much when I'm here somewhere in the Netherlands or Germany, when I'm staying there for longer and have like a task to do. Then I don't have that. But when I just do like a weekend trip, I'm like, what can I do? Like completely open and curious. So the traveling aspect is, at least for me personally, a super, super important part in like developing myself and getting to know myself and also reflecting and probing and educating myself. So that's from my perspective why I can relate so badly to what you're saying.
And these are interconnected, yeah. So when you travel, you learn, you reflect, you educate, and you travel because you are open enough to take these travels, yeah. So these all points are interrelated, yeah. One leads to another, yeah. When you are open to educate yourself, you then start asking questions, and then out of curiosity and question, you travel, yeah. You say, okay, I want to learn this, or I want to see how this is done in this country or in this place or in this area. And as I keep saying, nature tells the best story, yeah. So the nature is the best storyteller, yeah. You have to just stay with nature, yeah. Just spend time with nature, yeah. And nature doesn't mean only the green forest and mountains. It also means people around you. So they are the best storyteller. Yeah, for me, the cab drivers or the taxi drivers in Asia, they are the best storytellers. Yeah, they always give me lots and lots of story. Yeah, because they meet so many people every day. They talk to them, they learn something, they share something. They are one of the best storyteller I have seen in my life. Yeah.
Mhm. And then I know you're also a very humble person and don't see yourself as being like the super achiever or having done so much yet, even though that from a bit different perspective seems differently. I still wanna ask, okay, how did you incorporate those parts in your life, and how did it change, or what change made those thinking patterns and perspectives in your personal life?
Uh, I will be very honest with you. None of this were by choice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So me and few of my friends, we had to travel for like 8 hours when we wanted to study in high school. Yeah, because that was the only good high school in that particular city. So that was not a choice. Uh, I'm only talking about myself or people like me or some of my friends. Yeah, most of the things that we did was out of choice, which was blessing in disguise. As I said, that I'm always proud of the place where I was born. Yeah, it taught me so many things. um, I was already mature, or I was already doing my financial planning when I was just 7 or 8 years old, because we knew how much money my dad has and what we can do with this money. The only downside which I see, and I might be deviating from the main topic which you asked, but the only downside which I see in many of us was our aspirations and our dreams many times got limited, or we were thinking into a particular direction because we already knew what we can afford and what we cannot afford. I, um, I wanted to become an engineer when I was in high school, only because I wanted to get an immediate job so that I can get a job. Because in India at that time, the fastest way to get a job, or the most assured way of getting a job, was to become an engineer. Did I always wanted to become an engineer? Honestly, no. But then that was the best option for me, which I could. Did I stop becoming an engineer? No, I did. My father can afford just a bachelor degree for me, because in India we still have a high cost of education. It's not free. But then after that, I did my MBA on my own. I'm doing my PhD on my own. I'm doing research on ethics, for example, or in data science. These all are what I want to do. And that was in a way helpful, because when you have a restricted ambition, many times you are able to achieve it, because then you are not wondering, or you are not exploring things. So I started working very early. When I was 19 and 19 and a half, I started working.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay. Yeah, I can still fulfill what I want to do. But because of this small town or a remote place, we got opportunity to travel. We were open because there was nothing in the town. We have to go out. Yeah,
Yeah.
we educated ourselves. Yeah, we were buying books, and we were going to libraries. We were questioning. Yeah, why can't I go to this city, or why can't I do that or this? Yeah, one of my friend who wanted to be, or whose family wanted him to become a doctor, he become a food scientist just out of questioning. Yeah, and also because of opportunity. And believe me, he's really doing much better than what he would have done if it was only for becoming a doctor. From perspective, aim wise, or what to become in life, it grew up as we moved from city to city. Yeah, so when we were in our city, we just wanted to do engineering or medicine. When we moved to the next city, when we started traveling, our aspiration and our what we want to do in life got bigger and bigger. For me, I was lucky that when I was in my college, I was in touch with a lot of NGOs, yeah, non-government organization, and that was the best part of my life. I really cried when I moved out of that city, because I was working with different non-profit organizations, helping sex workers, kids, yeah, educating them, running education programs for people who are working on the construction area, organizing schools for them, providing food or clothes. And this is surprising. That was the time when I myself was not earning a lot, but that was the most or the best time I had in my life. I earn more now, at least compared to what I was earning there, but I was more happy then because people used to tell me that, you are doing really good job, you are helping a lot of people. But honestly, I was helping myself. I always believe that we human beings are the most selfish person, and nobody in this world is doing a social service. Everyone is trying to help himself in a different way. Spending time with those kids was the incentive, was something which I wanted to have, and therefore I was doing it. So I was not helping them, I was helping myself. And look now, I can't help myself. They are not around. So yeah, it has been a journey, and whatever points I told you or whatever I'm sharing with you, it never happened in one go. I'm learning, and I learned it while traveling through different phases of my life. And yeah, these are not my points. I have collected it with research and reading different books, and also to give a word. Yeah, I could not have come up with word called open. Yeah,
Yeah.
or reflect. Yeah, I put these words there or keywords there, but those are the experiences. I think even you have the same experience, and most of us can correlate with this because somewhere in our life we have gone through all these phases.
Oh wow. I already have like my whole notebook, 1 page of this full, and don't know where to start now.
We Indians are infamous for philosophy. We are
Yeah,
babas and gurus. Yeah, so you
I,
have
I,
to be
s-
very careful with
I,
that.
I see that happening. You bring all this from India now here into this episode. Damn. Um, yeah, it's really hard to add usually something to what you said, but to the most part, I can just obviously really agree that those parts, like also, for example, my journey is now a bit shorter, but it still has like those constantly ups and downs, but in the end, it goes into one direction. So over this probably about 4.5 years or something, I've been trying to like develop, improve, being more open. This has been the similar things that you just described, and like to some parts that was also really seeing completely different parts of the world, and then trying to incorporate that. How does that reflect on me? Like how are different things influencing me, and like what parts of the life I enjoyed the most, what you also described. And like, okay, back there I almost had maybe a happier life than I have right now. That I found also very like, yeah, how do you authentic that you like, not but also humble that you say something like that now, being a data scientist manager, and being able to, I guess, as you said, like earn a lot more. This is not something what you would describe as, okay, that makes me now more happy than back then. And
For sure.
and I think we also talked last time about that due to this open-mindedness and due to like exploring new areas and curiosity, that was something that got you to where you are right now. And you kind of lose that now by hanging on or clinging on what you have now.
Yes. So that's a really nice point which you touched. Look, I'm not a psychology student, but I always learn or see that we human beings are, or we always want to be scared. Yeah, fear is the best therapy for human beings. Yeah, for me, many in the textbooks or in different words, they say it is a mid-career crisis, or midlife crisis. I don't know what they want to call it. But after a certain point of time, when we are earning decent and you have a good job and you have a 9 to 5 job and your family is with you, everything looks fine for you. You get stick to this, and then you start getting scared that you don't want to do something new because this might change. Yeah, you are into your comfort zone, and you don't want to do something new. And what will happen is, or what I'm always scared of, and that's what I keep saying, that I'm very impatient with learning, is that I was getting scared that I might, if I do something new, and I might lose this position, or I will not be able to hang, to progress. And then I realized that I have to help myself to again unshackle myself and grow, or go into a direction which I want, because this is what society want me to be. This is what people say, oh, you are a data scientist, oh, you are in Germany, oh, that's really nice, you are doing really good. And I need a help. I need help. I need to open up again. I need to educate myself. I need to question. I need to reflect. Is this what I want? The problem is that most of the time we blame people around us. We say, my boss is not good. He's not promoting me. This guy is not good. Oh, I don't like him, and this is not happening. Oh, my luck is not good. I'm not lucky enough to go. But actually, if you reflect, if you help yourself, you can easily again be in the flow of the water. When river doesn't have a name, we give it a name, that okay, if it's flowing in Germany, it is Rhine. If it's flowing in Switzerland, it's something else. You have to be a river. You have to keep flowing. And river never ask anyone who is using it what is his name. Why do you ask? So similarly, you don't need to ask what I want to be or what I am. You just need to flow and just keep doing what you like doing without any fear. I know it's very easy to say, and even for me also, I'm not still through. I don't let everything flow. I still try to embark. I still try to make a dam out of it, store some water. But that is really, really something which we all have to tackle. We all have to question and reflect how we can overcome that.
And I think also fitting to that, this morning I actually also watched a TEDx video about that we live up to our expectations, not to what we actually want. So exactly. the easy example she mentioned was, in a way, everybody kind of wants to win the lottery, but nobody expects it. So nobody is even buying those, or very few people are buying those tickets for it. So exactly. by looking, or by living up to our expectations, we take exactly those steps that get us through or towards what we expect will happen, but not towards what we actually want.
Miss, I would like to add there, many times this self-expectation are not actually self-expectation. It's expectation from society, expectation from your peers, from your family could be also. So many times you build your self-expectation based on somebody else's expectation. So because that's cool thing to do, because Steve Jobs was cool, he's a great sales guy, you started expecting to become a sales guy. But then around you, your friends were also saying, hey, Julian, you can be really a good sales guy. Yeah, you can do this. And that gives boost to your self-expectation. Yeah. And that's where we end up. Yeah. As you said, yeah. We don't buy the lottery, but we want to win the lottery.
Yeah. And that becomes then automatically a self-fulfilling prophecy when we just expect those things to happen. And we take exactly the things that led other people there, that led us before to that point. So we don't even take actions to something else, because we think we're not even able to do that.
Thanks. You remember long ago we talked about this topic. So all the listener, me and Julian, we keep talking a lot over the call, over the Facebook and chat. And once we were talking about, I asked Julian that, did you have this feeling that you are laying down on your bed in afternoon and thinking that you can't do anything in your life, or you can't achieve anything in your life? And I don't want an answer from Julian, but I'm asking this question to all of you. Have there been this moment in your life when you are sitting on the couch or in sofa or in bed or wherever and thinking that, I can't do anything in my life. I'm useless. Oh, I don't have the capability. Oh, I'm not intelligent. If you had, that's a good thing. But if you stopped after that, then that's a bad thing. Yeah. Don't restrict yourself with self-expectation, and don't restrict what other thinks about you. You have to wake up, you have to stand up and say, okay, whatever I was thinking was bullshit. Yeah. This is me. Many people hate me for this, but I'm very proud of one thing about myself. And sorry, Julian, for using this F word in your in your broadcast. I don't give F to what others are thinking. If I want to do something, nobody can stop me, including myself. Even I can't stop myself if I want to do something. And this is what I have done till now in my life. I have got whatever I wanted. And if I have not got something in my life, then for sure that was I didn't wanted it. Because if I wanted something, I have it. Believe me. And it's the same for you, Julian. It's for everyone. Yeah. If there is something in your life which you already have, then it means that you always wanted it. If there is something which is not in your life, it clearly means that you didn't wanted it. It's not about deserving. It's not about intelligence. It's not about anything else. It's about, do you really want to have that in your life? If yes, you will have it. No question further. So guys, please, if you really want to have something in your life, you will have it. Just give a try.
And that is very powerful. I totally agree to that. And actually, I'm also looking into especially that, like what is happening then on a psychological perspective on those things. And that is connected, for example, to the growth mindset that has been established, I think, 10, 20 years ago almost, that there's like the two different, like the fixed and the growth mindset. And so the part where the growth mindset is different is that you are, in a sense, what you also explained earlier, like all those things tie into that. It's like you embrace the challenges, you try to seek even out for them, and you don't see, or you're not afraid of failure. And you see then those things as the criticism as something to learn from. And this like creates a slight shift in how you think about things to overcome, how to obstacles, how to overcome them. And that comes then exactly to what you're saying now. You're trying to not see those problems and trying to, okay, there's a problem, now I turn around or I stop thinking about it because I can't go there anyway. But you're like, oh, there's an obstacle. How can I find the solution? Like you don't ask the questions of like, there's the problem, there's an obstacle, and like, oh, I can't solve it. But you just ask, how can I do it? And it's like,
exactly,
just asking the question yourself, how is it possible to do, instead of just immediately saying, yeah, I can't do it. This is very powerful to like really openly think about, how would it be possible? What would I need to solve this kind of problem? And even like when you want to raise, I don't know, 10,000 euros for a charity next summer, you can come up with ways to get there. This is something that, at least for me, seems now super difficult to achieve. But okay, what steps do I need to take? Maybe who did that before? Who do I need to talk to? How do I need to think in order to get there? Like those kind of things come then up once you open up for yourself and being receptive to things that show the solution, but not if you say immediately, I can't achieve it anyway.
Exactly.
That's what my master thesis is going to be about, the growth mindset.
Wow.
So that's why I'm super excited about it too. Yeah.
That's great.
I'm doing 3 workshops about this topic, and trying to then make an impact on the mindset, so the way of thinking, but also maybe on the next steps of action that people take after those workshops, and whether this can be cultivated in just through a workshop experience.
Wow.
So if anybody in Groningen wants to join that, probably between January and March, it's going to be their workshop about. So yeah, that's something I'm super excited about, to see how I can now. I think I got a glimpse of what is possible due to this mindset. But now the other challenge is, how can I give this perspective to other people who don't think in those ways? How can I make it tangible for other people to believe that this might be true?
Yeah, but this is what I said, and this is what I like, and that's the reason why as I said, that I'm a very greedy guy, and we are pipelines, not source, and this is what you are doing. You are trying to pass on. You are trying to give it back. Yeah, and this is really important, because in this process of giving, or in process of acting like a pipe, you will also gain a lot of new things. So this is really important, and I really appreciate your as I said, keep saying that I'm looking forward to your master's thesis. I don't know about others, but I would be the first one to read it completely and and give you feedback for sure. Yeah, but this is something really interesting.
Yeah, I'm also very looking forward to that. For example, now finding a room for that is like the other thing of how I use that. It's like, okay, because I obviously don't want to use the university rooms, because you have this mindset of, now I need to study and do something like that. So it's like, okay, what possibilities are there? Who can help me to get there? How can I maybe also get a room for free, or like in my budget for a certain amount of hours? And like those kind of questions, or those kind of obstacles, you see really as something, how can I do it? You don't ask the question, can I do it?
Exactly. That's the attitude. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. Because if you want to do it, you will do it. No one can stop you.
Yeah.
Wow. Only yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. As they say that no one can destroy iron rod. It's only iron which gets rusted by itself. Yeah. And it destroys itself. So
you have so many damn good quotes. So I think now we getting slowly to the end. We've already covered more than an hour. Is there, apart from all the things you have shared before, something you still want to give on to others as like final words of what you know of this episode?
I just want to add one last, and I will end with Urdu again, a Urdu quote. Yeah. But I always say that we all should have faith. Yeah, we should have faith. Yeah, you could call it as a God, you could call it, or you can have it as your mom or anybody whom you believe. Yeah, and faith is very important. Yeah, you call it as a God, or you have a whatever in your mind. Could be a small, I don't know, lucky pen or whatever. You should have faith. Yeah. And there is this very famous, again, quotation from Urdu, which I will translate in English, and I will like to end my talk with this quotation. अपने खुदा से कहो, अपने खुदा से मत कहो कि तूफान कितना बड़ा है. अपने खुदा से मत कहो कि तूफान कितना बड़ा है. तूफान से ये कहो कि तुम्हारा खुदा कितना बड़ा है. Don't tell the tides, don't tell your God how big the tides are. Don't tell your faith how big the tides are. Tell the tides how big your faith is. Tell the tides how big your God is. If you have this positive mindset, believe me, you might be down for a day or two, but you will never be out of the game. So always have this positive thought that your belief is much, much bigger than the problem that you have. And you will always succeed.
Wow.
That's all from my side. Yeah. If it was too philosophical, yeah, but this is what happens when you talk to a
data science
mid-age guy. Yeah. Yeah.
I would really like to thank you and acknowledge you for all the things you have shared, for like the things you have even thought of before, and like how to put it down in a manner that other people can understand it, and shared it so humbly, and shared it with so much transparency from your personal side, that you were really showing what you learned from it, showing what also the downsides you have, and maybe in your life. That was very it touched me really to see that you did that for, I guess, also for yourself, because you said everybody's doing it for a selfish reason.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
anyway, it was still very, very helpful and interesting and intriguing and insightful for me to listen to that. So thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Thanks to you, Julian, for inviting me, and I really like the conversations with you. Yeah, we were doing this conversation on 35,000 feet above above the earth.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really nice to be from 35,000 feet to now ground zero, where we are really talking some tangible topics. Yeah, I really like it. Thanks for inviting me for the talk.
Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you so much for listening until the end of this episode. I hope you had the same experience of just being fascinated by the stories Vinay told and the analogies he made, and just the way he spoke about those, how to achieve those things. I find very incredible and empowering also to go after the things I want, and yeah, I actually wrote down the steps he mentioned. And it seemed just like such a perfect guideline on how you can approach things. So I'm definitely looking at it more often. And yeah, I hope you could also get some inspiration or some actually practical insights from it. And I'm very, very thankful for Vinay to share that with me and with you. So yeah, I hope you take something out of this, and I'll see you in the next episode. One last thing, if you enjoyed this episode or got a new perspective on something, I would really appreciate if you subscribe or leave me a review on iTunes, so I know what I'm doing and I can improve it. And I also see a bit of support from you to keep going. That would be awesome. So have a nice day, and namaste.